Hi. There- Hi. You are listening to Sipping Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels. I'm here in sweltering San Antonio, Texas. That gentleman out there is.
Rick Levy in Escondido, California.
And Rick and I we have. I'm really excited that we're going to finally try this officially here on Sipping Off the Cuff. We have every iteration of El Tequileno coming up on this series of tastings. As you can tell, I have had a little bit of it. This is the new branding, new iteration. The interesting thing is that they have gone through a whole rebranding. I guess they had gotten an infusion of money, and they have really gone gangbusters with everything that's done. They've kept the flavor of the old Tequileno. If you're familiar with the name, you might remember that name because anybody who's ever traveled to Mexico or Tequila and has gone to um, the oldest bar in Tequila called La Capilla, they make a signature drink called La Batanga, and I'm sure you folks have probably made your own. It's just this tequila, the mixto version, and Mexican Coke, and of course with a squeeze of lime, and then you stir it with a knife and call it a drink. So anyway, this is the higher end version, and I like what they did. I like what they did with the branding, and it's just really cool, very cool. They're calling this the Platino, okay? And we're gonna pour it and drink it and tell you all about it, and then we're gonna tell you the ins and outs. So I'm gonna use my Stasso Jarrito. Rick, did I introduce you?
Yes.
Okay. You're so quiet these days. I don't know why. As you can see, it is pristine and just lovely legs and tears on it. It's not super clingy. It's just very natural. As you can see, you can see Rick through the glass.
Yeah.
Rick through the looking glass. Wow, there's a selfie for you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So nice coating.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's you just can tell it's completely natural. There's nothing, no additives, nothing in it that's going to take away from the agave. I believe that this is just, they have their own estate agave, if I'm not mistaken.
What does the label say?
Yeah, there was no POS on it. They do have a beautiful website. You can see them. You can catch their photos. They're beautiful photos on Instagram and their website. Anything that we should know about in the back there, Rick?
Volcanic spring water, copper stills, mellowed in American oak.
That would be the Reposado version.
No, this is the Platino.
Oh, they actually. Oh, that's right. This is kind of like a. Do they tell us how long that they have mellowed it in the oak?
I don't believe so.
It would
but
have
I'm sure
to. You know,
it's less than 30 days, right?
Right. They have to pull it out. Otherwise, they have to call it a reposado. In the old days, we used to call this, and I still do on occasion, depending on what brand we're tasting, we used to call it a blanco suave. Herradura was one of the first ones to do that because their tequilas and plants coming out of Amatatan have that. Sometimes they have a little bit more character than people are used to.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? What are we getting?
Well, it's very agave forward. A little bit of lemon.
Yeah, there's a high lemon oil, lemon zest, aroma.
Touch of anise.
Yeah, sometimes on the side actually.
Oh, it's just Very bright. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. There's nothing off-putting on it. As you said, I'm getting more. It's more citrus forward. Maybe more so than anything baked that I'm getting
Right.
now.
Do we know if it's highlands or lowlands?
I don't even think.
Highlands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pure natural volcanic spring water and the ripest agave from the highlands. Yeah. It has that.
It's got that very fruit forward. Almost, it's almost similar to the ones that we have that we get from Gnome 1414. You know, anywhere near Arandas, that
Right.
area there. It's more fruity than minerally or minerality on the nose.
So they're fermenting with natural yeast influenced by old mango trees.
That's what it is. That's what we're
Right.
getting. Yep.
Exactly. And
That's
we've seen those characteristics come out before, like when we were doing the cosecha.
oh
We've
yeah.
seen it in some of Felipe Camarena's stuff. He has
Well,
fruit trees there.
seen it in like I said, Gnome 1414. That area there, the whole
Right.
place is surrounded by citrus trees, so you get a lot of that influencing the open air fermentation.
Exactly.
I want to dive
Oh,
in. This thing is just
all
beautiful.
right.
Let's do it. Wow. Holy
That's a full experience right there.
wow. And a medium to long finish at the end. Wow, this whole thing just explodes at as soon as it goes in at the entry and then mid palate. Just is it just me or am I not getting the? I'm not getting any pepper so much as I'm just getting. Um, I'm. It's just more citrus. More. It's almost like what we were smelling was amplified.
Right. Yeah, not a lot of pepper. I did get a little bit of mineral on the palate, presumably from the volcanic spring water.
Right.
So, if I hadn't if I hadn't just read that, then that might have surprised me a little bit. But yeah, but it's nice. Not so much a pepper explosion. A little bit of pepper effect maybe around the
Yeah.
edges, but
Well,
not huge.
it almost reacts like a. See if you agree with me. It almost reacts as if it's a much higher proof than 80.
Oh,
Um,
right.
it's got
Yeah, and I was getting
character.
a little bit of warming. There's a little bit of heat as it goes down. It's
Yeah.
not a burn by any means.
No, no, but
Just
it's got the
warm.
I look for lip numbness sometimes, and I'm getting it.
Mhm.
Getting it on the inside of my lip. I'm getting it on my gum, and it's rare these days now that you get that kind of lip numbness. We used to get it a lot from tequilas in Amatitan, in the valley, in the Valle. That's why it's interesting to me that they're saying that this is it's considered a Highlands, that they're using agave from the Highlands, uh, and even mellowed in American oak. So that makes it a Blanco Suave. Um, and you know what else too is could be the copper. The copper stills are really giving it that old school flavor. It definitely has an old school flavor to it.
Right.
Um, I'm in love, man. This
Really
thing,
long finish.
yeah. It's a finish that keeps on giving and giving and giving. And a matter of fact, that anise that you smelled at the very beginning, I get that on the back of my palate, just ever so slightly. I don't know if you did or not, but that's kind of what I got at the end.
I think this would hold up well in a drink.
Oh yeah, yeah. It really has a strong character. It's interesting because the aroma is very fruity, but it reacts, like I said, like a tequila that's got a much higher ABV, and it's got a lot of character, almost to the point of being aggressive. But I think the time it spends the time it spends in the barrel is what rounds out whatever edges. I would love to taste this before they stick it in the barrel. I mean, I like a tequila that's got a lot of that character, you know. Um, I'd imagine that this would be similar to how the old, well, it's been a long time since I've had old Herradura, you know, or the Herradura 92, which was a higher proof, and not mellowed in barrels. I This is right up there. This is I okay. I can't. I'm going to have to go out and do this, but I think it's a brand of promise nominee. Uh, but I believe because this is a tequila that's been around for a long time. Let me give you the ins and outs. All right, El Tequileno is people never knew anything about El Tequileno except for when they started visiting tequila, when it became a big deal to go and do tours. We were there, myself and 34, 35 other people who had never known each other. And that was before tours became popular. And we walked into a place that somebody said to me, "This is the oldest bar in tequila, dude." And I like holes in the wall as much as the next guy, right? And they had a at one side of the room they've got uh, the jukebox, you know, behind the bar was really, you know, pictures of mariachis, and I think there's got a picture of Che Guevara, and you know, it looked so much like a cliche, you know, like it was a movie set, because it was kind of like that, the old, you know, the old cinematic movies of the golden age of Mexican cinema. And they said that this is the oldest bar in tequila, and he makes a drink called a batanga, and I'd never heard of it. And it's Mexican Coke. It's this tequila. This is a specific tequila he was using. Well, actually, the mixto version was the one that he was actually using, and we're going to get to that. Rick and I are going to get to the
It
mixto.
looks like you've got to that already, Mike.
Yeah, I did. You know, I, I'll have to say, well, see, look, this brand has been around since 1959. Okay, if you look on their website, they have a whole timeline of where they started, where they are now. They've got some wonderful people working in the offices and as brand ambassadors now. They have really tightened up their game. They come onto the market in a big way. This version of this tequila didn't exist for a long time. But anyway, the Batanga was famous because this was the tequila that Don Javier, who, God rest his soul, has passed away, was the bartender who made that drink famous. And everybody throughout the world now makes this drink, but they insist on using this tequila. So this is now a well tequila, and we're going to get to this. This is the 70-30 mixto, okay? Because in those days when we visited, you know, tequila, before they became tours were popular, there was a surplus of agave, and even mixtos. There were a lot of reputable mixtos at 70-30 that tasted almost as good as a 100%. So that was one of them. But if I had it, I can't remember because that part of the tour, some parts of it are kind of fuzzy, because you have to understand that that type of tour had never been done before. Don Javier used to keep the place open until 11 o'clock and then close up and go home. Well, he kept it open for us 35 people until like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. Okay. And that was, people were dancing with each other, you know, with the old music from the jukebox. I met a couple of young catadores who were at the bar, who worked for tequila companies. You know, I didn't even know this, that you could be certified to be a catador for aroma only or taste only. I didn't know that they at that time they were separating the two. So you could be certified and work for different brands if you had a better nose or you had a better palate. And that's how you found employment as a catador. But anyway, long story short, that's That's El Tequileno Platino. Do we have anything else? Oh, do we know what a price point is on this?
Well, Zach's got it at Old Town for $43 right now.
That you know what? That's still undervalued. I think this is such an old school tequila that and like I say, it's a legacy brand. It's been around since '59. And check out their website, check out their Instagram. They're very, very approachable, nice people. I'm so glad that they finally came on. They came onto the scene in a big, big way, and they've had a nice kind of a cult following for a long time. But this was a complete surprise from what I remember the mixto being. So anyway, that's our take on El Tequileno. Stick with us because we've got the whole line to go to come after this. That's our take. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Rick Levy and Escondido.
You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels. Please subscribe wherever you download your podcast, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, or if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that red button, hit the notification bell. Every time we upload a video with Rick on it, you'll know on your hot little cell phone. Whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.